Chapter 9. The Names of Buddhas. Commentary. Reciting the names of Buddhas, I mentioned before that originally every Buddha has 10,000 titles. Then, due to the fact that people could not remember so much, the number gradually reduced to 1,000. However, people still had difficulty recalling 1,000 names. They have bad memories like I do. By the time they recite the first to the 1,000th, they forget the first. As a result, the number of titles was cut down to 100. In the end, though, it was still troublesome to remember 100 names. Therefore, they were decreased to 10. Every Buddha has 10 titles. Thus come one, worthy of offerings, upright and universal knowledge, perfect clarity and conduct, well-gone one, knower of worlds, unsurpassed knight, teacher of people and gods, Buddha and world-honored one. This is the 9th chapter called The Names of Buddhas. The Bodhisattva is about to explain what kind of merit and virtue one is going to receive by reciting the various Buddhas' names. Sutra. At that time, Bodhisattva Mahasattva said to the Buddha, World-honored one, I want to discuss some practices that will be helpful to beings of the future and will enable them to gain great benefit throughout their lives and deaths. World-honored one, please hear my words. The Buddha told Bodhisattva, now with your expansive compassion, you wish to discuss the inconceivable events involved in rescuing all those in the 6 paths who are suffering for their offenses. This is the right time. Speak now, since my nirvana is near, so that I may soon have you complete your vows. Then neither of us will need to be concerned about beings of the present or future. Bodhisattva said to the Buddha, World-honored one, countless Samkhya and eons ago, a Buddha named Bodhisattva appeared in the world. If men or women hear this, the Buddha's name and and have a momentary thought of respect, those people will overstep the heavy offenses involved in birth and death for 40 years. How much more will that be the case for those who sculpt or paint his Buddha's image, or praise and make offerings to him? The merit they obtain will be limitless and boundless. Commentary. At that time, after the 8th chapter was spoken, Bodhisattva Mahasattva said to the Buddha, World-honored one, I want to discuss some practices that will be helpful to living beings of the future, including you and I who are present now. Do not say that you are not counted. Both of us are included in this figure. These practices will enable them, the living beings, to gain great benefits throughout their lives and deaths. World-honored one, please, I sincerely request that you hear me explain my vow with words. The Buddha told Bodhisattva, now with your expansive compassion mind that you are bringing forth, you wish to discuss the inconceivable events involved in rescuing all those in the 6 paths, including beings from the heavens, humans, asuras, hell beings, hungry ghosts, and animals who are suffering to their offenses. This is the right time. Hurry up and speak now, since my nirvana is near. From this statement, we can conclude that Earth Sutra was spoken after the Dharma Flower Sutra and before the Nirvana Sutra. The Buddha continued, Speak up so that I may soon have you complete your vows. Then neither of us will need to be concerned about beings of the present or future. I will not have to worry about them any longer. Bodhisattva said to the Buddha, World-honored one, countless Samkhya eons ago. Asamkhya is a Sanskrit word that refers to limitless and countless eons. There was a Buddha named Bodhisattva who appeared in the world. His body is without bound. It pervades the whole empty space of the Dharma realm. If a man or women of southern Jambudvipa hear this Buddha's name and have a momentary thought of respect, those people will overstep the heavy offenses involved in birth and death for 40 great years. How much more will that be the case for those who sculpt or paint this Buddha's image and praise and make offering to him? The merit they obtain will be limitless and boundless. You will never finish counting because there is so much. I'm going to share a public record with you now. What is it? When the Buddha dwelt in the world, there was an old man who wanted to leave home and cultivate the way. The Buddha was not at Jalagrover then. His disciples were annoyed at seeing the old man. They wondered, he is so good, poor, and sloppy. Why does he want to leave home? These are Hasa who have certified to the fruition observed. This old man has no good rules with 80,000 great years whatsoever. He cannot live the home life because one must have good rules to do so. Do not claim it easy to live the home life, for it takes a body seed sowed in past lives. One can only leave a home after planting numerous good rules throughout past lives. Even though you want to leave home, you will not be able to. If you like gurus, you might want to, but then you think, oh no, living the home life is too difficult, it is not good, do not leave a home. You might back down and say, do not go. Those Ahasa saw that the old man had no good rules and rejected him. Being poor to the point that he had no food or clothes, the 90 or 100-year-old woman or man who had difficulty walking thought, now I have lived to this age, I suppose I could obtain some peace by living the home life. But it turned out that the Buddha's disciples declined to take me in. Hence he started to cry, sobbing and walking at the same time. A new idea emerged. What was it? He was mulling over a scheme to commit suicide by jumping down the Ganges River. He was not far from there, and when he was about to jump into the Ganges, Shakyamuni Buddha came and said, "Hey, sir, what are you doing? You want to swim? At your age, your arms and legs are not so flexible. You cannot swim." The old man said, "No, I'm going to die. I'm going to put an end to my life instead of living. There is no meaning to living." Shakyamuni Buddha said, "Oh, why is it meaningless for you to go on living? Can you tell me?" The old man said, "I felt that nothing is meaningful, so I wanted to live the home life, follow Shakyamuni Buddha and cultivate. But when I went there today requesting to live the home life, the Buddha's disciples rejected me, telling that I have no gurus. Since I cannot leave a home when I want to, what is the use of being alive? I feel that being alive is worse off than being dead. So I wanted to jump into the Ganges River to drink its waters until I am full, so that I may become a young man who lives the home life in another incarnation. Since the Buddha's disciples do not like old people, also probably because of how ugly I am, no one likes me. Shakyamuni Buddha said, "You want to live the home life, don't jump into the river. I will accept you as a disciple. You can come back." The old man asked, "Who are you?" Shakyamuni Buddha answered, "I am Shakyamuni Buddha." "You are Shakyamuni Buddha, you will accept me?" Shakyamuni Buddha said, "It is so sad the way you cry. I will accept you as an old disciple." The Buddha brought the old man back and spoke Dharma for him. As soon as the Buddha spoke Dharma, the old man certified to the fruition for arhatship. When the Buddha was alive, many people certified to the fruition of arhatship. The Buddha looked at his causes and conditions and spoke the Buddha Dharma for him, so that the man certified to the fruition. Some disciples think, "This old monster is old and without good rules. How can be certified to the fruition? They became doubtful of the Buddha Dharma and asked the world another one, "Really, this old man should not leave home. But how come you accepted him and he certified to the fruition? It is awfully strange. We are skeptical about the Buddha Dharma." Shakyamuni Buddha said, "You arhats only know about the cause and effect and the good and the bad throughout 80,000 great years, whereas you do not see anything beyond this period of time. For instance, you can see things that occur in this house, but nothing outside it." The old man was a logger in the mountains more than 80,000 great years ago. When he encountered a tiger that was going to bite him to death, he recited Namo Buddha once. For that, the conditions now repent for him to live the home life and certify to the fruition. It is not a happenstance for people who wish to live the home life. They may have recited Namo Buddha many times to live home in this timeline, otherwise you would not accept them as disciples either. Sutra. Furthermore, in the past, as many years ago, as there are grains of sand in the Ganges River, a Buddha named Jewel Nature First Come One appeared in the world. If men or women hear this Buddha's name and instantly decide to take refuge with those people who never retreat from the unsurpassed path. Furthermore, in the past, a Buddha named Lotus Supreme First Come One appeared in the world. If men or women hear this merely passes by their ears, those people will be reborn 1,000 times in the six desire heavens. How much more will that be the case if those people sincerely recite the name of that first come one? Commentary. Furthermore, in the past, as many years ago, as there are grains of sand in the Ganges River, a Buddha named Jewel Nature First Come One, referring to how our nature is very precious, appeared in the world. If men or women hear this Buddha's name and instantly decide to take refuge, those people will never retreat from the unsurpassed path to Bodhi. Furthermore, in the past, a Buddha named Lotus Supreme First Come One appeared in the world. Padma means red lotus, which is supreme because it surpasses over lotuses such as yellow, white, or green lotuses. Red is the most supreme among all the colors. If a man or women hear this Buddha's name, or if the sound of his name, Lotus Supreme First Come One, merely passes by their ears, those people will be reborn 1,000 times in the six desire heavens. What are the six desire heavens? The heaven of the four heavenly kings, Trayastrimsha Heaven, Shuragama Heaven, Tushita Heaven, heaven of transformational happiness, and the heaven of ease of others' transformations. Celestial demons live in the heaven of ease of others' transformations. How much more will that be the case if those people sincerely recite the name of that first come one? Since one enjoys so much merit just from hearing the Buddha's name once, then not to mention how much greater is the merit of sincerity reciting the Buddha's name oneself. Long ago, someone went to Palaceof monastery and saw an amana tree with golden flowers. He picked a blossom and walked to the Shakyamuni Buddha image before him. Seeing how wondrous the image of Shakyamuni Buddha is, he offered the flower before the Buddha image. Then he went and asked an old man, "How much merit do I get from making an offering of this flower to Shakyamuni Buddha?" The old man said, "I do not know. You have to go ask a monastic. He went to ask a monk, who responded, "I do not know." You would have to ask the arhat, who has practiced chant and certified to the fruition. How he can tell you. Then he went local for the arhat to certify to the fruition. "Can you tell me how much merit I get for having offered these flowers to the Buddha?" The arhat said, "Wait and let me contemplate a bit." He contemplated and said, "This merit is impossible to reckon. The blessings that result from it is inexhaustible for 80,000 great eons. As beyond 80,000 great eons, I would not know. You would have to ask the Buddha." He went to ask the Buddha, and the Buddha said, "This merit is inexhaustibly many, pervading all of space and Dharma realm. One individual receives these much blessings just for making a flower offering to the Buddha. Hence, we can enjoy 1,000 births in the 6 desire heavens if we just hear the Buddha's name once. This kind of merit is inconceivable."